Amitai Fraiman, Director, The Z3 Project.
Many of us, if not all of us, know someone who's been directly affected and impacted by the war that Hamas imposed on us, whether it was in the first round of violence or if it was in the subsequent fighting. And to make things worse, the situation around the world for Jews is also very bad. Many Jews and Jewish communities are targeted. People are afraid to express their Jewishness openly. Things seem pretty bleak. I'm sure this will resonate with you, but I ran out of tears. I can't cry anymore. I don't have words to express the sorrow and the pain and the anger that I have. And so when I'm out of tears and out of words, there's not much left to do but sigh. It's been said that sighs are the natural language of the heart. The Talmud tells the story of two rabbis, Ula and Rabbi Chisda. They're out on a walk, and they come across a burnt-down, charred house. Chisda, when he sees this tragedy, lets out a long sigh. Ula, his friend, instead of supporting him, chooses to remind him of something. He says, "Don't you know, Chisda, that our rabbis taught us that it's forbidden to sigh? We're not allowed to sigh, because if we sigh, when we do that, we can weaken half our body. And there's an opinion that says it weakens our entire body." Now, when I studied this story the first time, I was a little bit surprised. What can be so bad about sighing? What's so complicated and difficult about it that it weakens half our body, let alone our entire body? The rabbis felt they have to forbid it. But then October 7th happened. And this story and the opinions that Ula brought made total sense. When we exhale, when we sigh in the face of tragedy, we literally deflate ourselves. We slump. We become smaller. And that's how it weakens half our body. But when it comes to the other opinion, that resonated even more. Because what I think the rabbis were trying to teach us is that exhaling in the face of tragedy, if we do it in such a profound way, and we think about the breath and the life, and think about sighing as releasing our will to live, that is even more devastating and can impact our entire body. And so after October 7th, that story made total sense. Total sense. And I think that Ula was trying to remind his friend of something so profound, that sadness, intense sadness, is okay. It's legitimate. There's space for it. You have to give it time. But you can't let it take over. Because if you let it take over, that will weaken us as individuals, as a community, and as people. So what can we do? What can we do? So I want to look at what happens after we exhale, after we sigh. What happens when we do that? We breathe. We inhale. We let life back in, just as God did to Adam. We inhale life back into us. Do it with me. Let's inhale. But another thing also happens. Did you notice what happened to our posture? Do you notice how we need to straighten up, to breathe properly? Literally uplifted. It's empowering. It's empowering. When we inhale, we let back and we breathe. We let life back in. We let in hope. We let in hope to live. So I want to share with you some things that give me hope. The smiles on my kids' faces, that gives me hope. The fact that we are all here together. We're here to spend the day learning and crying and arguing and healing together. That gives me hope. The fact that we can open our JCC and host so many leaders from across the nation to take the message of what we're doing here at the JCC and at Z3 and spread it across the country to their communities. We have JCCs. We have leaders from the Hakel Network. We have emissaries from Jaffe. We have 30 teens from the first Teen Summit of the American Zionist Youth Council. And think about it. We have the ability to take what we have here and send it across the community and beyond. And that gives me hope. The incredible amount of acts of solidarity, the kindness, the support that we're seeing here and in Israel, that gives me hope. And above all, the fact that we live in a time where we don't have to ask for anybody's permission to be Jewish, that gives me hope. Now, during the day, I invite you to jot down some things that give you hope as well. Meditate on it, think about it in your book, in your notebook, whatever you want. Now, to be clear, just to be clear, I'm not suggesting that we have to be naively optimistic. Things are bad. There's a war, people are feeling unsafe. Things will get better, but it will take time. And we have to be strong while that time passes. But this is what I do want to iterate. This is what I'm trying to convey here. Remind myself and remind all of us. Hope is inherent in our Jewish DNA. It has been seared into the collective consciousness by the number of times we have risen from the ashes. Let me repeat that. Hope is fundamental to our Jewish identity. It's seared into our collective consciousness by the number of times we have risen from the ashes. Even in our darkest times, we believe things will get better. You know, we often talk about intergenerational trauma, but we also have intergenerational hope. That's part of who we are. And just as we must inhale after we sigh, we must also rise when we are down. Like breathing, hope comes naturally to us. As Zach shared earlier, today's program includes not only a wide range of topics and action items, but also ways to work through our emotions. And while the program starts on a somber note, we hope that by the end of the day, we are ready to sing together loudly and proudly the Jewish anthem of hope that predates our state, Hatikva. So as we embark on this day, as we work through the emotions we feel, I want to remind all of us to breathe. It will not only ground us in the moment if we feel overwhelmed, but it will also serve as a reminder that there is always hope. Am Yisrael Chai.